you're here. You always come back. Or perhaps I've just dreamed you into existence again. No matter, no matter. Sit, if you will. Or just listen. I have a story for you tonight. This one. This one is a tale of heroes fighting to please a god, of tragedy and triumph, of creation and endings. How terribly mortal of me to find such tales comforting. Ironic, isn't it? You must think me strange, a relic tucked away in a forgotten corner of eternity, clinging to these words as though they might anchor me. But you're different. You're real. You're free, aren't you? Sometimes, when you're here, I feel almost alive again. As though I'm not just a shadow in this endless abyss. You remind me of something. Someone. Long lost. But that's not important. No. Let's not linger on such things. We start our journey in complete and utter darkness. There is nothing to be seen, only a cacophony of different laughs, screams, giggles, and whispers from all directions. It's abundant, but it is also fading. You do not remember where you are. You do not remember who you are. Just for a second, as this darkness that is surrounding you and seemingly encompassing the whole room starts to almost dwindle. It starts to become more opaque. You start to see hints of light, the laughter, the whispers, the screams. They all start to become subdued, and you start to hear screams once more. But not the eldritch screams that you heard previously. You start to hear yells for help. You start to hear crying, sobbing, choked screaming as the darkness around you starts to fade. You start to regain some of your memories as your head is booming. You feel as if you've been tilted off your axis and the light starts pouring through. You see in front of you a giant arc where probably 20 feet wide, maybe 40 feet tall, broken, clearly has some indication of magic being used on it, some arcana elements to it, but the portal has runes on it. It's fading, clearly broken. And as your eyes start to adjust to the light, you see this huge eldritch being somewhere crawling out the middle, tentacles wrapping around this archway, another tentacle popping up from one edge of the room. And as the light starts to basically erase the darkness, you start to hear the room for what it is. No more giggles, no more laughter. You remember who you are.
I'm staggering. Putting one foot in front of the other is the hardest thing I can do, but I'm trying as much as I can. I feel a sharp pain in my side as I'm trying to walk forward towards the screams. Still, eyesight is blurry. I touch my side, look down. Blood. I'm continuously moving forward, swaying back and forth, missing my step, losing balance. Slowly but surely, I make it through the arch. Looking up, I see the Eldritch, and I blink, not believing what I'm seeing, not believing that this is true, that this is happening, trying to figure out how I got there, what's going on, why are these kids screaming, why are there screams? Holding my head with both my hands, I crouch down, closing my eyes, trying to remember why I'm there.
You get a glimpse of memory, almost as if a psychic blast hits you. You remember graduation, Finally, the gifts, the wish, the people who have been chosen are slowly being chosen suddenly right after their performance. You're attending the College of Arts. This was the final act, determining whether or not this person made it into the top 10, and if not, somebody else would take their spot. You remember this halfling, this petite young lady, as she is an unknown age to you, looks a bit older, has a hood on, pale, almost cracking skin, her eyes almost cloudy in one and completely white in the other. As she starts mumbling, as you see the judge panel just looking upon her, silent but eyeing, you see as another bit of memory hits as this arch starts to form in the ground, starts having this vivid purple, almost void and milky substance form upon it as something reaches its tentacle out. It starts to rip apart the auditorium, and you stare at in horror as different kids start to run and scream. This was the College of Arts. Everybody so far has made their performance. No casualties. But yet, with this horror that has been summoned, this art, this magnificent thing that has been created, this magic, summoned an eldritch being into this. As you look around after you pass through the arc, you see countless bodies that are laid upon different areas. You see one that has just locks of hair covered in blood. It's this dark skinned elf laying there, jaw open, eyes battered, side of his head is almost caved in. You can see he was reaching for maybe a rapier. Whatever it is, it's just broken, dismantled at his side. You see somewhere else in the corner of the auditorium a gnome, gray skin, skinny, trying to tinker with something, and almost crushed into this puddle of meat and bones and blood. As you glance around the room, you also see one person, as they too are battered, and this person seems familiar to you. He has a ram's horn on his head with some type of etching going towards one eye. He's trying to fight. Everybody around you is trying to fight. You see a skinny, pale elf having a rapier out as he's yelling towards this creature, yelling instructions to other people. Get back! Get back! Who summoned this? And you look over to who the memory was originally about. You remember her name, Dari Dustai, as she's weeping and talking and trying to summon something, trying to use magic and use something to counteract what she has done. It wasn't supposed to be like this. This is not what I practiced for. It's all ruined. It's all ruined. As your attention starts to focus on the person with the horn, would you describe yourself?
I just finished letting out a few like Eldritch blasts, and at this point my hands are starting to sizzle because I'm trying to just rely solely on this, preserve my magic as best as I can, and each time I do, I have just smoke like rising out, and I have blood sort of covering. And honestly, I don't even remember if it's my own or anyone that I've maybe tried to help, but it's covering everywhere, and some of that blood just only ever disappears whenever it splashes onto the mark that leads or surrounds my eye. Just looking around, trying to see if there's anything I can strike at to help people get away a little better.
You're focused on trying to help people escape this lumpy monstrosity, these amalgamation of eyes, tentacles with a multitude of eyes all blinking on different timings. It's almost like a metronome but for each eye, they blink in certain rhythms. The tentacles grab out, and you see as this Goliath pulled back hair into a ponytail. You remember her. Her name was Janine, and she was a devout follower. She has a pendant on her chest, this eye symbol with a slash down the middle. She's yelling, "Somebody, run! Get some help! I'll try to hold it as long as possible." You know she's ready for any sacrifice. You know she believes in the divine. And you see a tentacle lash out and reach around her. Another one goes towards you,
Towards me, right?
and you feel it wrap around your legs.
I I feel that I instantly kind of I give up on my Eldritch Blast this moment, and I sort of tracing the tentacle down towards more like its base. I go to shoot a circle of death at it. Try to just sever it, if you will. Free myself.
As you shoot that circle of death, you see the tendril start to pull you in, and you see as you cast it, it is dismembered. It is the tentacle pops off, the eyes stop blinking as there are probably hundreds of eyes staring back at you, non blinking. But you see the body, the base of it start to pulsate, and you see two more tentacles start to grow out, grabbing and almost pulling itself through this archway. You see as it goes, and through the amalgamation of eyes, as it pulsates, you see as it starts to form a mouth.
I instantly I kind of break out in a cold sweat, and I just quickly glance around to see what everyone else is doing. Just focused.
With a quick glance, you see that there's plenty of bodies. It is not a good scene. Most of these people you knew, you went to class with for the past 4 years. You learned, you grew up with them, you had connections with them. Some of them good, some of them bad, but now they're non-moving. They're just lifeless corpses. As there's only probably less than 10 of you guys left. Out of a whole year's worth of a class, there's 10. You see as the Goliath, she is fighting back as she's still in the tentacle, getting dragged towards the mouth. You just severed one tentacle. You see towards your right, you see Marianne just almost concussed, moving, but slow. You see Doree just sobbing. Some kids that you weren't as close with are just running. You see different races. You see a dragonborn trying to cast a spell, but right before he can, you see as a tentacle is about to smash down on him, and you see at the tip of the tentacle, as thick and grotesque as it is, you see a mouth form, and you hear his last words as he's eyeing up into the sky. You see fire start emitting through his fingertips as he's becoming ready to cast a fireball. And as he sees this inevitable ability, you just see him mutter, "I understand. It was never meant to be me." As he gets eaten whole, you see where the tentacle lands. There's no more of him. The tentacle moves around, slithers, and starts reaching for pillars that it is around where he used to be. His whole body's gone. Marianne, you see as a tentacle reaches out for you. Roll me a dexterity saving throw.
17.
And thus, you manage to see the gore, the atrocities that are happening around you, and with a swiftness, you see the tentacle just pulsate and reach at the same time, almost deceptively fast as how big and awkward moving it is. It reaches for you, and you manage to dive. You move out of the way last second. It takes one of the corpses that were near your feet and it just launches it back. Not pulling it, just launching it towards the center of mass as you see this behemoth of a thing grow in size. There are only 9 of you now, as you see 3 running. You see an elf with his rapier out, ready to strike, not knowing when or how he can get close enough to actually strike. What are the both of you doing?
I'm scrambling on the ground, moving backwards as I'm still processing what the tentacle around me was doing. I get up and I cast Burning Hands, knowing that the tentacle just has a dead body, but wanting to save it just as well.
Okay.
I want to, as I kind of see this, the Goliath lady, is she still being taken in, or at this point is she gone?
She is seconds away from being eaten alive.
Okay. So I I wanna quickly try to let out 4 of my Eldritch blasts, kind of like 2 more towards the mouth and 2 towards like the tentacle itself. See if I could like free her up.
Okay, roll. As you see her yelling, screaming for people to get back. Please, save yourselves. It's all over. Just remember my name.
2 nat 20s is kind of crazy.
3 of them hit.
Okay.
You aim the Eldritch Blast, and you make holes into this creature, this Eldritch Horror, as when you make holes, simultaneously you see in basically your peripheral that Marianne is just she casts burning hands, and you see as the tentacle goes and tries to reach for her, she burns it, and it sizzles, and it almost reacts. It yanks back, and you can see it shaking as you cast the Eldritch Blast. You see as the holes are being made into this creature, 2 to the mouth, and aiming for the tentacle. You make holes, and right where you make the holes, you see as teeth grow. And the hole becomes a whole separate mouth. You make another hole right next to its mouth, and now it has 3 different mouths right around the same area. You shoot at the tentacle, and you see 3 more grow back right where you broke off. And as you try to help the Goliath, you try to save her, you see as you've almost made everything so much worse, as the tentacles that now just grew out of the holes you made on the original tentacle grab different limbs, and it starts to almost pull her in 2 different directions. You see as the pennant is just on her chest, flapping up and down, and you hear the metal clanking on metal. You see as the tentacles are almost ripping that in 2 as well. And you see one arm come off, get tossed into one of the mouths that you've made. And she yells in pain. She cannot fight back. Her hands are being held. And she is just merely alive, but grappled. And she's yelling, asking for help, but also for you to just run. You see Doree just standing there with her pale, cracked skin and her short stature. She's crying, sobbing, muttering as she's trying to cast things. You see, with as long as you've known her, you see her try to cast a dispel magic. But the portal is no longer working. This thing, it now has its roots in your plane of existence. You see as she tries to conjure up another gate, and you see the tentacle just smash down on it. Less students now. 8, as you see the Goliath's body get ripped and torn into shreds and just consumed, as you see the amalgamation become bigger, pulsating, but also doesn't decrease in size. It pulsates and gets bigger at the apex of the pulse. You see as metal starts to be added towards its skin. I'm going to need you, Jack, to roll a dexterity save.
Got it. This is a 22.
22. You see as it's a tentacle but with a horn on the tip of it goes to try to pierce your body completely in the center, and you see it and you manage to dodge it just in time where it nicks the corner of your shoulder. You feel the pain. Roll me a constitution save.
10. Not so good.
You feel something as you feel the pain. It's burning, unusual. You've got cut before. You've felt a pain of a slice of a wound, but this feels something similar to a defense class, a defense against dark magic. You feel as your body, your shoulder starts to go limp. Your left arm is now unusable.
I, at this point, I'm like, I'm trying to speak, but I'm kind of just too shocked to even get anything out. I I try my best to make it move to no avail, and no, like realizing rather that I can't move it. I look over to where I saw Marianne, and I try to or rather, I do cast message towards her, so I could just say like, "You need to get up. We're not gonna win this."
Marianne, may I get a history check? 12. Whatever hit the side of your head, it's still affecting you. The darkness that was around you, you start to piece it together. It was Dori trying to cast magic to try to disorient this monster. It's her attempt to just try to cast anything. With this history check, you start to remember more and more of your classmates. You remember how Dori is just, well, was, ever since year one, a quiet young girl with seemingly a tragic past. She never really talked to anybody. Her skin was always extremely pale and always seemed to be on the verge of cracking, if not already cracked, almost as if she was an extremely old porcelain doll. And she is terrified. She usually scared easily, but now with this monster, you see, she is quite literally shaking. You hear this message come through into your head as Jack sends it down into your brain, and memories start coming back. You start remembering the years prior. What do you do?
Jack's voice is echoing in my head, and I get up. Everything's much clearer. My vision is no longer affected. I feel a surge of adrenaline rushing through my veins. I look at Jack and I see that, and I can almost feel that he's in pain. I'm rushing towards Jack and I cast Cloud Kill around me. As I'm reaching him, I grab him and I pull him behind me, standing in between him and the eldritch tentacles that are still wrapping around.
Jack, roll me a con save again.
Got it.
And as this happens, you feel your left arm still numb. You see
Eight.
Marianne just pull you away, puts distance between you and the monster, and cast a spell where you see this cloud, a thick, almost darkish green, and in some points you see neon green particles spark up, and you see a tentacle try to dart and hit you with another attack with the horn as it starts to almost melt and disintegrate as it goes through.
Okay.
I scream out to Jack, Jack, stand back, go back.
Jack, you feel your left side start to not be able to move. You feel from your shoulder, you feel the side of your neck, the left side, almost feel weak. You feel it running down your chest as it's almost reaching to your waist, where you know it will affect your left leg.
Uh, Feeling that set in, I go to cast a greater restoration on myself, touching myself with my right hand, just applying it so that I can see if it removes whatever is ailing me, whether it be curse or anything of the sort. Just completely ignoring everything else around me at the moment until I'm sure that I solved this like numbing.
You start to feel as it slowly gets better. And as you're focused on that, Marianne, you put distance in between the monster and you, and put yourself in between Jack and the monster. You look around as the memories start coming back. The funny jokes in class, the times you guys try to pull pranks on teachers and professors, and as you look around, you see those professors. You see their bodies mangled on the floor, spread out around the auditorium. You see the judge panel almost destroyed, as strong as they appear to be, clearly no match. You also look around, you see the remaining students. 5 left. One of them is Doree as she's crying. The monster seems to have no quarrel with her. You see another one, an elf. You can't remember his name, but he's standing there tall with his rapier. He has a sickle in his other hand, and any tentacle that comes towards him, he's slicing and trying to cut off at individual points as he maneuvers around the tentacles. He is standing his ground. You can tell his mind is made for battle, but he honestly cannot discern whether or not to go in or to run. He does not know any win condition.
Scream out, run, just run, stop fighting. I'm turning around and I'm surveilling how many of us are still standing. And I see that how many of us?
Roll a perception check if you're looking behind you. You see, as in front of you, there was 5 students. Well, in front of you and the people you know that was around you, Jack included. You, Jack, Doree, and this elf. And there's one more who you are just watching in the corner as he has his wings, and you see as he's putting out his hands, blocking the tentacles with almost this glistening aura around his hands. Every time the tentacle tries to reach for him, he's attacking in one way, which seems to be burning the tentacle. And his glasses are slowly sliding off of his nose. You see sweat pouring down his face. That's the 5 people you know that's in front of you. You look back. Other than the bodies and the countless bodies from your class that you remember, you see 2 open doors. 2 open auditorium doors. And you hear chatter from them. You just see one person running, clearly sweating profusely. Their clothes are soaked. whether that be blood or sweat. You see them take a sharp left and just start running. There's only you five in the auditorium against this monstrosity. You don't know whether if they're going to go for help or to save themselves. As you yell that to this elf, you yell, "Run." You catch his attention. He turns his head, rapier in one hand, his sickle in the other, and you caught his attention. You made the decision for him. He stops fighting as he turns his head, and you see as he's twisting his body, and his leg gets pulled as he basically falls forward, sickle and rapier falling from his hands as he hits the floor. You hear wood against pure flesh, a thud knock the wind out of him. And you see him get pulled back, being dragged as his hands reach for his sickle and his rapier for one last time. You see him get thrown into the gullet of this monster. You see tentacles still trying to penetrate this cloud that you did. Trying its hardest, but any which way the cloud slowly moves and it starts burning and sizzling around this tentacle. 4 remaining. And Doree is losing her mind. You see her pulling towards her hood, almost grasping for what seems to be hair under there, but you never saw hair there. Jack is behind you, trying his best to get himself back into a quality form. And you see that one Asimar just fighting for his life, wings out, divine energy pushing back, and he is the closest. You know, if he tries to run, if he turns his back for one moment, this creature will not let that be, and it'll be the last of him. What are you two doing right now? 4 of you left in this auditorium.
I try to correct my posture a little bit as some feeling kind of comes back, and I just kind of still stumbling a bit. I go to kind of like lean on Marianne's shoulder a little bit, and I point at uh the body of these tentacles if I can, more towards where the Asimar is fighting at this point, and I try to banish it.
Okay.
Which has a save for 19. I guess that 4th level. Yeah.
How does the banishment look as you cast it?
As I lean on Marianne and point, you can sort of actually see the mark that leads down from my horn. Like for a moment, it seems like it changes color from like the just pure black that it is to almost just like a maroon. And my index finger that I point with it lights up sort of similarly. All the veins have the same color suddenly, and the energy from it tries to wrap around the monstrosity as it like shoots out to try to like encapsulate it and send it away.
And try as it does as you send out this spell, hoping it works. And as the magic wraps around this creature, you see as it wraps. And then once it starts to try to settle into the creature's skin, tries to banish this monster. You see as it attaches itself to this monster, goes down the length of one of the tentacles, and the Asmar that's fighting, he's pushing a tentacle away. He blocks another one with magic, and it touches him. And for a split second, nothing happens. As he looks and turns, you see his magic starts to dwindle. His golden aura starts to dwindle. It's almost like the spotlight was taken off of him. No more light. Goes back to being a regular person. As you see him blip out of reality. and a tentacle breaks through the ground right beside you and Marianne. You three remain.
Three of us remaining. I stumble backwards and I throw Jack's arm around my neck, supporting the left side of his body that's just still keeping him in pain. I look over. Can you still walk?
I, I believe so. I limp at least.
Okay. I think I'm trying to calm down my breathing. Turn back to Jack. I think I have a plan. We can't save ourselves. We can't fight this. We need to get to the third person. How far away do you think she is?
I can't. I can't even tell you. Everything looks too fucked up. I, as I try to look and try to get a fair guess on it, if I can have it to roll to see if I notice anything.
Do a perception check.
18.
Marianne, I will ask you a very specific question.
Okay.
Heads or tails?
Tails.
Okay. Jack, you look. You see her standing in the middle. No tentacle around her. She is just crying. Her porcelain, cracked doll skin is just there. There's no movement in her face. The cheeks are not moving. It's almost as if she's wearing this mask. But you hear sobs. You see her holding her head. You see as light starts to fall upon her. And then darkness. Marianne, as you ask Jack to look and how far is the reef from you two, so you guys can reach each other, you see a tentacle appear right next to Jack and just grow a mouth. And in one fell swoop, you see it encompass his body, bite, and the one arm he had wrapped around you gets bitten off as it falls on the floor.
Ooh.
Jack is gone. Marianne, you see you see light go on to her.
Mm-hmm.
Jack, you are now in the stomach of this creature as you are going through these fleshy tubes. Eyes are looking within and just staring at you as you get swallowed and pulled in deeper and deeper. Something is grabbing onto you. Muscles around you are squeezing, so you get pushed faster and faster. And you know where you're going. The middle part of the body, the mass. That is where you're going.
All right. Before I make my decision, from is there anything that I can roll to see if I have any if where I'm approaching could potentially help me save everyone left. Save.
I would say roll investigation. Try to
Dang.
figure this out. With how fast you're going and whatever's pulling you, the closer you get to the middle, the more it seems and it feels slimy. And while you slide against it, you start to see the edges of the clothing you were wearing are almost burning up.
Okay. So in that case, as a reaction to being swallowed, I'd like to cast a spell known as Frail's Rupture, which when I do, it comes from me trying to make a slicing motion with my finger, and doing so would allow me to exit the creature's body, regardless of damage. Which I believe is a con save of 19.
You do this hand motion. It's 4 years you've been training for perfection. You've been putting in hours just to train and hone your magic. You already took your test. You already made your wish. You remember the graceful feeling of when the light touched you. You remember your wish. You make the slicing motion with your hands as you see light once more. You see Marianne just standing there looking at Doree as she's trying to get closer. You see Doree still standing there sobbing. The light is touching her.
I Okay, so as I kind of make this escape, and as a result of the spell, I fall prone, but I look at this light, and I just kind of squint my eyes. I try to see what's happening to her.
Okay. Marianne, what do you do?
Where is the attention of the Eldritch?
Right now, it
Yes.
is currently on Jack, as Jack is harming it, and you can see it's almost slithering. Like tentacles were coming towards you, trying to also take you, but then as soon as Jack does something from the inside, and you see this slit open up, and you see Jack's upper half through this slit, you see as the tentacles slither back down and start popping up all around where Jack is.
I look between Doree and Jack, taking half a second to understand my choice in this moment will determine who might live and who might die. Is Jack within running distance of me? Within 40 feet?
During the time that Jack was getting pulled, you were moving towards them. So, yes, they are 30 feet
Okay.
from you. You can either decide to run towards Doree, which is just standing there crying. You see the tentacle monster has not even laid a single tentacle on her. She's just there, standing almost in shock. Or you see Jack, his upper half of his body just in this slit that he has made by himself. He's prone horizontal as there's a good amount of tentacles around him, at least 7.
7. I make the decision to run towards Jack. As I'm running, I cast level mouth acid throw the direction of the tentacles that are paying attention to Jack. This attempt shoots out these shimmering green, almost liquid-like arrows towards Jack, about a multitude of them. And as soon as they get within, I want to say a foot of those tentacles, they explode, and these tiny droplets burst out of acid onto the tentacles around him.
Okay. Roll damage. Okay. As you start running towards Jack. Jack, do you respond in any way as you see Marianne just running towards you now? Doree is still standing there as tentacles start to go and they form almost this circle around her, almost as if it was prison. Just bars going around her. You see as the tentacles around you get sprayed down with acid, they almost retreat into the ground. What are you doing as you are prone?
As I see the tentacles kind of get pushed back by the acid, Well, just to make sure, am I like halfway out the slit though?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I do then is I just hold one of my hands into a fist, and when I open it, it's a small shimmering bead, which is a delayed blast fireball, and I try to push out the rest of my body and just pluck the bead into the slit.
Roll. Okay. As you do that, you see a mouth start to form as the acid is burning into the tentacles. Mary Ann has created slight holes on each tentacle, and where eyes would be, they melt down into divots that start to grow teeth, and they go towards you. Roll a con save.
That is a 12.
They go towards you and Marianne as you guys are now close together. You threw the delayed blast fireball into that slit. The slit is already healing up. These tentacles are going towards you. What are you two doing?
I grab Jack tightly around his waist and I cast teleportation outside of the fighting area that we are towards the back where I saw people running away.
Okay.
As I get grabbed, I just kind of like I look at Marianne for a second, and I look back to where the slit is like closing up, and uh, while looking at it, I just I try to let out. Well, since I'm being grabbed and about to be teleported, I think realistically I only let out like 2 Eldritch blasts. But I tried to Eldritch blast the bead to get it to blow up as she does that.
Okay. You are precise with it on the first one. He's holding on to you, and you put out your arm to cast it through the tiniest of slivers as you see the flesh of this creature is starting to mend itself. You see as different parts of the tentacles start attaching to each other. You shoot this bead that you've chucked in there moments ago, and you hit it, and you see an arcane reaction as a small bead is starting to wrap around and get hotter, and the fire becomes, it goes from a dark red to yellow, and the colors start to brighten as it almost turns to this glowing hot orb of white. You hit it. Marianne is just holding on to you, getting ready to cast the teleportation spell. You see the countless bodies surrounding you guys. You've seen your class decimated. Most of them are either left you guys for dead or are dead themselves. And as Marianne goes to cast teleport to leave, you see Doree. You get this light. You understand this light to be her being selected by the art god. The whole reason you guys were here. She proved herself with this, whatever this artistic rendition is, whatever just happened here. She is in the top 10. She made it. Countless people's goals in life, and she has finally done it as she is sobbing. And right before you teleport, you hear this small halfling let out the words. I wish we could just go back to how it was. And you're there, ready with clothes, and you're walking towards college. It's the first day of class. Are you excited to go back to school?
And that was the first chapter of many. Please return when you're ready, for this is not a tale that you would want to miss. You know where to find me. I will be here, waiting for your return.